right. So let me just go ahead and share this to my Facebook. And you guys, if you can, please share. Okay, so sorry, let me share if you can. Okay, let's see. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my dream last night. And it's funny because it was like a recurring dream that I had like a few weeks ago. And let's see. Oh, sorry, still sharing this. Okay, so my dream was about myself, my ego self, and dealing with the ego selves of other people and knowing how to work through the lessons that they teach us, even though they may seem very off or rude or anything like that. Thanks, Mike. So, I just wanted to talk to you guys about the dream. So, in this dream last night, and this was a recurring dream, this happened 2 weeks ago, I believe, the same dream. I was in a setting where it was kind of like a classroom setting, and I was teaching something, and I had a lot of masculine energy in the classroom in particular, like not necessarily just men, but it was men and women that had a heavily masculine energy. Um, and I was getting critiqued. I was getting critiqued for the words that I was using. I was getting critiqued for being very upfront and just I don't sugarcoat things. I tend to talk to people based on the information that I get. I don't filter the information, and it's usually your higher self that comes to me to speak through me. Um, it's not like bad words or anything like that. I just say it how I hear it. And so it's kind of like a lot of people get a little bit sensitive because they're not used to criticism, especially if they know that they're doing something wrong and they've been told multiple times that they need to reassess this cycle. And so that's what I was doing. I was teaching people in this setting about criticism of self and from being able to accept criticism from other people. And so I was taking all the criticism in the dream, and I was like, okay, yeah, okay. And then I could improve on that because I was writing notes. I was saying, okay, I can improve myself on this. I could definitely see that where that looks like I may be seeming a little bit harsh to people and stuff like that. And then, but I told them the same thing. I was like, I don't sugarcoat because I am not the type of person that is here to make everybody happy. All I do is relay information and present it in the way that it was presented to me. So if there is a cycle that is presented and your higher self is presenting it to me, telling me to tell you, hey, you're in currently in a cycle that is unhealthy. You have a toxic relationship with somebody. Maybe look into that. Maybe try to figure out why you're attracting that type of person in your life and stuff like that. That's what I say. I don't say it in like a rude manner where I am all overly criticizing people or telling them they need to stop doing something or whatnot. It's more of like, here's the information. And some people don't like it. Some people aren't ready to hear it, and that's okay. But if you're coming to me for some assistance, if you're coming to me for some guidance, if you are in my academy and you are learning from me, you will see that that is what I say. I say it how it is presented to me. I don't say it to criticize you. I don't say it to make you feel bad. I don't use words like that. And so in this dream, I was saying that to people that were being harsh to me. They were critiquing me in a harsh manner. And I said, okay, we can critique somebody in a very productive way through using proper words instead of using harsh, like pointing the finger type of words, or trying to um, cut through them through certain words. So that's what I was dreaming about. And I dreamed about this 2 weeks ago. So knowing this information, I started to look and starting to do some shadow work on myself about maybe I am using the wrong words for people, or maybe and so I was going through all my videos on the academy, and I was looking at them and scrutinizing them. And then I asked my friends to do the same, because I have a lot of friends who make sure that they review things so that I know that if I'm doing or saying something that might be offensive, they tell me right away. I don't usually say anything offensive. So that's a good thing. And I just try to work in that manner, because I don't believe in offending anybody. I don't believe in hurting them on purpose, because that is not the shamanic way. The shamanic way takes time. It takes learning daily, and growth daily. And it's not a one ticket to heaven, it's not a rush to the finish line type of path. It takes time. It takes time to understand. It takes even a lifetime to understand shamanism, especially Toltec shamanism. But so that being said, in these dreams, I was getting harsh criticism by people in the dreams, and I was just like thinking, okay, maybe that's just me criticizing myself too, because I tend to be very hard on myself, making sure that everything is how it's supposed to be, making sure that people are being taken care of. And if there's questions that they need to be answered, then they are being answered. So that being said, an incident happened with somebody yet today, actually. And I just wanted to share this because it has a lot to do with the energies that are going on right now, as well as connected to this dream. So this incident was presented to me in a manner that, well, initially yesterday I saw some comments, and I was kind of worried because I saw comments in a lot of my videos, and not here on YouTube, but in my academy. This person was in my academy. They just started like a day ago. And so they went on there and they asked me, like, where do they start? And I have everything labeled. And so I told them, start with the first lesson about the medicine wheel, because that is a very important thing to do for shamanism. We have to establish a medicine wheel in order for us to establish a sacred space around us. Like wherever you are, wherever you're doing your meditations, wherever you're conducting your healing work, wherever you are in a space where you use for a very long time, you need a medicine wheel there to establish its purity, make sure that its energy is balanced. And so I did that. I told them to go there first, and this is through private chat. This isn't public. And so they went and did whatever they needed to do. But every single video, I always express that it needs to be done one per week, because that's how I've been taught. And that is how a lot of shamans do it. You can't rush shamanism. You can't do that. You can't just say, oh, I already know this, and then move on. If you are wanting to learn shamanic, like the shamanic way, if you're wanting to do that, it takes time. It doesn't matter what you've learned before. You have to come with an open mind, because you will find something new to learn in everything. And so this person was going on, and I saw like an influx of messages being sent to me regarding the comments in the videos. And so I checked them out, and I was just like, okay. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. Each video states that you have to watch the video, use the technique for an entire week so that you can establish muscle memory as well as the connection through your subconscious mind and connecting to your guides thoroughly. You can know the difference between guides. You can know the difference between your energy and somebody else's. That's why it's a week for each exercise, each video. And so they commented something that was very kind of like, I thought it was, oh my goodness, they need to slow down. So I messaged them and I told them, hey, you're kind of watching videos that are supposed to be done once a week. And then I told them, if you rush through that, you're not going to learn anything from it, or you're not going to actually establish a connection with the actual lesson, and learn how to work with it. And then I said, this isn't a race to the finish line. This isn't just a quick fix. The shamanism takes a while to learn. It's a lifestyle. It's not just, okay, I'm going to take a course in shamanism for one day and now I'm a shaman. That doesn't work that way. And so I told them that this isn't a quick fix, as well as that it needs to be done properly. And so they came back, and of course they got offended, saying that they learn differently and they're a quick learner, and that I needed to let people learn how they're supposed to. And I told them I didn't get the chance to reply because they blocked me. And they said something really harsh on YouTube on my video from yesterday. They said, no wonder your best friend left you. And so I was like, wow, that's really harsh. And so I commented, I was like, look, I don't understand like why you have to go out of your way to be this way. If you claim if you're of love and light, you wouldn't do this stuff, pretty much. So then I deleted that and I blocked her, and they went out of their way to go through every single video on my YouTube channel. Everything. Like, I've had YouTube videos since last year to unlike, or to like do that down thumb down or whatever. And I was like, wow, this is really like showing me their true colors, as well as understanding what other things I need to work on. And so if I am, to establish a good, pretty much relationship with people in the public eye, I think that I need to be more open with who I am, and what I accept and I don't accept. And that type of behavior is something that I don't accept on my channel. If somebody is being rude to me or to somebody else on my channel, that's unacceptable to me. Yes, it is a lesson in understanding that, hey, people who are wounded tend to lash out at people, and understanding in that manner, but that doesn't mean that they get a free pass from me. So I just wanted to make this video because in the dreams, I was taking in the criticism from the people, writing things down about improving myself. But then I was also telling them that, it's okay to criticize me, but criticize me in a proper way and being constructive, not cutting me down. And so I stood my ground in my dream. And so I'm doing that here, where I am speaking about these dreams, because I will not allow anybody to try to cut me down and my progress, what I've been doing since I was 22. I'm 34 right now. And I will not allow them to do the same thing to anybody who is viewing my channels, who is working with me, And so yes, they have wounds that they need to heal, but there is no excuse to be rude. There is no excuse to be harsh like that or to bring up things that they think are going to hurt you when you clearly are over it, you know? And so I wanted to talk to you guys about this, that this energy that we are in right now, the death energy, is bringing these type of people into our reality so that we can make sure that we are certain that we are healing the things that need to be healed, you know? And so when this person said that about, no wonder my best friend left me, I kind of like, I looked at it and I didn't feel anything initially. I just kind of like smiled a little bit and then thought about it. And I was just like, wow, this is the same energy of that best friend that I had. It's the same type of energy. So I decided, you know, I was going to message or deal with this privately, but they didn't give me the chance. So then I decided to say, like, okay, you know, this type of behavior is not correct. It really isn't to try to cut people down or try to resurface a wound that they already have healed, you know. And so I was just like, I wonder why this is happening, right? And then I heard my guides is like, well, the unhealed are going after people who feel to them that they're healed. Like they are going after people who present themselves as or feel a little bit higher vibrational because they're a little bit lower vibrational. And there's nothing wrong with that, with being low vibrational sometimes, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. You're learning something. But the thing that does cross the line with me is having rude comments or trying to be uh like not just not nice, you know, not nice at all. And it's like, if you're disrespecting me, then you're probably disrespecting other people too, that you probably see as knowing a little bit more than you, which is ridiculous because everything that I teach is there. It is with a pure heart that I teach it. So if she felt or he felt that I wasn't you know, being nice or something like that, then I don't know what to tell them other than just, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but that's not me, you know? And so anyway, this person just went to the extreme level of making sure that people have this ridiculous notion of me. And it's funny because that is exactly how my old best friend did it, where she didn't accept my own, you know, wanting to separate myself from her because she was doing a lot of things that I thought were immoral. And so she decided to try to smear me because I had all these things that I knew about her, and she thought that I was going to use that against her or something like that. Anyway, I didn't, but she still went out of her way to try to make sure that people didn't come to me for help or assistance because she was going through her own issues. And I understand that, but it's still not an excuse to be that way. And so it is important to see these cycles in this energy right now because you will be confronted with people like that. You will be confronted with people who are going to lash out at you because you are and in a good space and in a good place in your life. And so that's why it's important to be mindful of it and not like, don't fight fire with fire, you know what I mean? Like don't go out of your way to call them out like in front of everybody or tell them they're crazy or whatever, you know. It's more like, I am just telling you guys this so that you can understand that I am human too, and things like this still happen to me, you know. It's like rare that this happens, but it does happen once, probably once a year. I would say that I get somebody who tries tries to be rude to me just because I tell them that they need to kind of like slow down, or they don't like that I am like pretty much telling them, hey, you know, spirituality is a growth. It's gradual growth. Isn't just a snap of your fingers and all of a sudden you're a guru, or a snap of your fingers and all of a sudden you're enlightened. You know, it doesn't work that way. And so for those who are not ready to walk the path that I'm on besides me, then it's okay. I don't go out of my way to try to force people to listen to what I do. You know, everybody who's on my channel who's listening to me is because they have a connection to me. They vibrate with me, you know, and we are, you know, walking together. And so it's important to understand the difference, and not you know, not because I'm giving free information means that I'm gonna give it like everything to you in one day, because that is not how it works. Because I could easily make videos about, you know, shamanism, like one video about like certain key concepts in shamanism, but if you don't practice the concepts, if you don't actually establish a connection to the spirits, an actual friendship, an actual, you know, relationship to the spirits, then everything that you learn is not, it's all superficial. It's a label. It's more like, oh, I know this because, no, I know this now, so that means I'm a shaman. That's not how it works. What it is that you need practice. You need to connect thoroughly with them. The spirits will help you if you respect them. And that is what it is all about in shamanism. It's not about, oh, today I'm going to only work with this spirit, and then in 1 hour I'm going to work with another spirit, and then in another hour I'm going to work with another spirit. Because to them, that is kind of rude. That is kind of like you're dismissing their wisdom, and that is not okay. And so that's what I felt this person was doing. I didn't say that they did that. It's more like I felt it right away that this person was just trying to gather data and information and then run with it late, you know. And so instead of actually understanding the deeper need for connection with this information. And so I had to let them know that they needed to slow down, that it was one, you know, video a week. And that's how the academy works. Because in shamanism, the shamans are going to tell you the same thing. You don't know everything about shamanism in a year. You won't even know everything about shamanism in your lifetime. You know, it's a gradual thing. It's exactly like spiritual growth. We won't know everything in a lifetime, you know. And so it's definitely, it definitely takes time, and it takes a lot of patience to establish a connection, because sometimes we have things that are blocking us from establishing a connection to the spirit realm. And it can be a lot of number of things. It could be fear, it could be, you know, a program that we have been manipulated into you know, implementing as a child. And so it takes time for us to heal these things. It doesn't mean that we have to be completely healed in order to connect. It just means that we have to take it a day at a time, one step at a time, you know, and understand that we are always progressing in that manner if we do take time. Hi guys. Hi Cheryl. Nothing wrong with stepping up for yourself. Sorry, Ari. Thank you, Cheryl. I'm sorry, Liana says, you are an awesome teacher and mentor and also a student learning as well. Exactly. Thank you, Liana. Yeah. And that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I am only human. I am learning with you guys. And so I don't think that it's appropriate for anybody to be rude with one another. I don't think it's appropriate to lash out, as well as, and I don't think it's appropriate to try to jab at each other, you know. And so if you are doing that, like, I know nobody here that's watching is doing that, but if you find somebody who's doing that to you today, or maybe for the rest of this 13-day period, um, make sure that you understand that this is what's happening, is that the really deeply wounded who haven't been doing a lot of work are lashing out at the ones that are, we are still wounded, but we're doing a lot of work, and so it's because they're kind of trying to feel better. Anybody who tears somebody down usually wants to feel better about themselves, and so that's what you will see. You will see this at work, you will see this with your own family, you will see this with friends, and even in relationships and partnerships, in romantic relationships, you'll probably see that maybe your partner has had a really rough day, and because he's having a rough day and you're perfectly happy, or she's having a rough day and you're perfectly happy, sometimes they get the urge to like tear you down or bring you down to their vibration, because they're not feeling good and they don't want anybody to feel good right now. Valerie, oh, Cheryl says, yes, awareness is key. Valerie says, so true. We often feel that it's a long process. It is, and it's process about patience as well, because we are all growing. Everything that we learn from one another, we grow from it. Like I've just learned a lot about this person in the way that I tend to critique myself very harshly, because I don't want anybody to feel unaccepted. I don't want anybody to feel like they don't belong, because that's how I was made to feel for a very long time. And so I see this as they felt unaccepted because I was telling them to slow down, and so I was just kind of like, wow, it's that, plus I don't know, others probably other situations that they're going through, but it's still not okay for them to be rude, to go out of their way to try to smear me publicly when they don't know me. And they didn't even allow for a conversation to happen. Where when we have feelings and we express our feelings, we have to be able to accept the feelings of other people too. It's not just a one-way road. We can't just lash out at people and not expect a person to communicate what is going on in themselves too, and this person lashed out at me, but yet did not allow me to communicate, my empathy for them and try to help them. They just lashed out. They did it publicly as well. And then they went out of their way to mark a thumbs down in every single video on my YouTube channel. And this is like videos from like last year. So it's just kind of like, wow, this person is really hurting, but I will still not accept that type of behavior in my environment, or even around other people that I love and care about. So it's very important not to allow that to put your foot down too. Not just, it's more like understanding that they're wounded and see and hear them, but understand that sometimes some people just cannot be in your space anymore because of it. It's not okay to treat or mistreat people like that. So yes, I had to do what I needed to do to block them. Hi, Amy. Okay, Valerie says, exactly. You help so many, not fair to discredit you. What happened to agree to disagree? Yes, it happens everywhere, Cheryl said. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, I understand the complexity of souls, and I understand there's layers to their behavior, but I still won't accept that type of behavior that is being pointed at myself or other people that I care about. I care about my viewers here on YouTube, I don't want them to have that type of environment either, where they see comments being directed at them because they agree with me, or stuff like that. That's just not okay in my point of view. And so the same thing is like when we claim that we are of love and light, and we say, oh, you are of love and light and stuff like that, but then we act or lash out and indicate that we are definitely have a little bit of shadow work to do, then we have to make sure that we take care of that. We can't just claim we're a love and light and then misbehave and try to run back to I'm love and light. That's why I misbehave, because you are darkness. It's silly. It's silly. It doesn't work that way. Oh my goodness. So yeah, so I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about that and my dream, of course. If you guys came in a little bit late, my dream was about it's funny because it was a reoccurring dream. It was about me teaching a group of people, and they had a like really strong masculine energy, and it was men and women. It wasn't just men. And so they were critiquing me on the words that I was using. They were critiquing me on the topics that I was talking about and other things. So some of them had good criticism, meaning like it was actually informational. So I wrote that stuff down, like, oh, you're right, that's good, thanks for letting me know, and then I can improve on myself, right? But then some of them were blatantly rude, like cutting me down, like saying, oh, you're this, you're that, or stuff like that. And so that's when I established I didn't back down. I told them it's okay to criticize me, but it's not okay to try to cut me down or try to be rude to me. And I understand that you are unhealed, but I am not going to tolerate that type of behavior. So it's funny because I had this similar dream like 2 weeks ago. And so I was trying to understand it, and so when it happened, and then this coincided with this action that happened today with this person coincided with it, I understood right there and then that I had to share it with you guys, because I need you guys to understand something about me. I am human. I have feelings too. And so if I have somebody that is rude to me, I will not tolerate that, and I will cut them out of my life. I don't do that with even my family, like if I have a rude family member, I don't talk to them anymore. And until they decide to heal themselves, because I know they have inner wounds that they need to look or work through. I don't tolerate that type of behavior against myself or against other people. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Thank you, Valerie. I love you too. Cheryl says I had those kinds of dreams too, Star. Yes, and it's because, that's why I wanted to tell you guys too, because of this energy. We are going to be faced with people who are unhealed, who will be lashing out at us, and it is up to us to be able to rise above that, in so many ways. We could either be confrontational too, or we could decide to say, look, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I will not allow this in my space, and then leave it at that. Because no one deserves to be treated like that. No one deserves to be talked to that way. Okay. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. So if you guys see my videos, because I know you guys are probably going to look for it, because I know I was like, oh my God, all of them have like a thumbs down. Then you know that it really did happen. All of it actually happened today, you guys. Like within hours, that this person actually went out of their way within hours to put a thumbs down in every single one of my videos. So I was just like, whoa, that's really committed. I was like, wow, like even if I don't like what somebody says on YouTube, I don't go out of my way to put a thumbs down on all of their videos. It's kind of silly. Thank you, Cheryl. Valerie says, when I'm feeling that judgmental fraction of my shadow, I go into hiding best for everyone. Most importantly, I'm learning to take accountability for my shadow thoughts. Yes. And I do. I do the same. I don't go into hiding, but I do talk about shadow aspects in that way. I was just told by my guides to talk about this today because of the energy that's being presented to us, so that everybody could understand that if they're being confronted with somebody like that, like a shadow or whatever, or somebody that's being rude to them, to know that this is the reason why, that it is so that we could ask questions within ourselves, as well as not tolerate that type of behavior either. It's very important to establish boundaries as well with people, and not allow people to just keep picking at you. That's not okay. Amy says, I stand my ground, yet it's still ugly to experience daily with family. It's freaking crazy. Yes, it is, because family is one of your best, I guess you could say, biggest teachers. Because you can't really, unless it's like your immediate family, you can't really like hide from them. Like, if it's like extended family, yeah. But if it's your immediate family, you can't really run from them. But that's why it's a good idea to just sit down, and if you have time and if they're willing to, talk to them about it, and having a conversation about your feelings, and how you felt about the way that they interacted with you, or what they were saying to you. It's important to talk. So that's why, and then that's another aspect of things, that I talk. I will talk. I will have a conversation until we establish each other. We know each other, and especially when somebody is doing this stuff to me. I actually went out of my way to message this person, but my messages weren't being received because they blocked me before I could even try to establish an understanding with them. And so I do that. I go out of my way to establish a communication thing. But if they're gonna go out of their way to smear me, and to do things without even talking to me first, or without even trying to solve whatever issues they have with me, then they're cut out, and that's how it goes. Let's see. Cheryl says, I was going through family stuff when I had dreams like that. It just old energy story. Is not about you. You don't have this issue. Thank you, Cheryl. I love you. Valerie says, I do, because I'll say something, so I'll regret it. I need more practice. You're so strong. That's why you chose military life. It's funny because um, when you're talking about this, Valerie, about not being strong, or saying that maybe you don't have a way to like filter, I see that you do. I see that you do have a strength within you, because I've seen when you go live, there's been people who were really rude to you during your live, and you kind of just like said, okay, I'm sorry you feel that way, but, and then you'll move on. And so I was just like, wow, that's pretty good. I actually learned that from you. so so yes, you are strong. um Charles said, journaling helps with this person and alcohol. Yes, Cheryl, if you have somebody that you're having to deal with, that has an addiction, um, I would definitely talk to their higher self. Talk to their higher self and ask them, so what can I do to make things better between us? I understand that they have an addiction issue, but what can I do to assist them in some way, so that they won't lash out at me because of that? Because sometimes when people are addicted or on a substance, they have no boundaries, and then they have no way of understanding empathy for other people, as because that substance is deterring them from connecting in that way. So it's very important to connect with their higher selves and talk to them about this. And that's what I usually do when I'm confronted with people like this in public. Like I said, I've only dealt with it like probably like once a year. Last year and then the year before that. And so it's the same energy too. It's kind of like, here's one, then this one, and that. It was like the same energy. So I usually write a letter to their higher selves, and then I write one to me saying, what do I need to look for as well? Amy asks, I can't ask anymore. It went on deaf ears. I just flow and learn myself and shine brighter and send gratitude for the lesson and awareness. Yes, Amy, love it. Liana says, try meditating on a dark cave and there is a mirror. In the mirror, you see your shadow selves. Could be a childhood or teenage or adult self. Merge with those selves. Love them, hug them. Yes. Yes, Liana. Amy says that pissed them off. They want me to be raw to the core in my words. Ha ha ha, I hold back. The trophies. Oh, Amy. Valerie says, thank you. That's because the shadow was asleep. That's why I love you. That made me feel better. Yes, because it's true. Cheryl, yes, but you can't solve their problems. All you can do is excuse yourself from their issues, not your stuff. Yes, exactly. And um, that's why I had to like just do the shadow self stuff today because of it, and understanding that, hey, not everybody's going to agree with me, but I still don't have to tolerate them being rude to me. And that's okay if you don't agree with me. It's fine. I don't, we don't all have to agree. And that's the beauty about unity consciousness, is it's different. Everybody is different. Everybody's unique. And so we don't all have to agree with everything, and that's okay. It's just not being rude to one another that needs to be established. Valerie says, I agree, Cheryl. I'm learning sometimes we have to let them fall on their asses as my ass falls was what made me a better human. That's true. A lot of people, sometimes we do hold on to people that are toxic to us because we feel like we can help them, because we've known, we could see the bigger picture in their patterns. And so we feel so wholeheartedly responsible for that, that we feel like we have a responsibility or a duty to them to help them, but not necessarily. Sometimes we have to just let them go on their way, and learn things on their own through other people, because other people will come into their lives that could probably help them grow, and become better people. It doesn't mean that your time with them wasn't helpful. It just means that that time has ended, especially when it gets so chaotic in the relationship that both you and them are miserable, and it's time to let go. So this is what this death energy is all about for this 13-day period, is learning to let go of people like that, and moving forward in your truth, in your path towards your own happiness, and remembering that we always learn from one another, and so just taking whatever we learn from those people and moving on. And so that's another thing that you will be seeing a lot of, is the endings of a lot of friendships, the endings of a lot of relationships, and the endings of a lot of just programs. And so it's necessary so that we can be rebirthed into who we really are. So it's very tough for a lot of people today. So that's why I'm telling you guys, there's going to be a lot of them that are going to come after you. Not like intentionally, but they will see that you have been working so deeply in your own mastery, your own self mastery, that they will kind of feel this inner like need to lash out at you because they don't look at themselves that way. They look at you as somebody being intimidating or somebody that knows more than they do, and that's not how it's supposed to be. But in their minds, because they are unhealed and because they're wounded in that manner, they will lash out, so just watch out for that. Don't, I would say try to be calm when that happens, and if you can't be calm, then walk away until you can be calm and talk to them about it. And so it's very important to do that, as especially with this energy. Cheryl, sometimes they don't know when to shut up. Jennifer says, I came on late. I have tried lately to look at others' negativity as a manifestation of my higher self and try to be open to the lessons it holds. Hard to do, just have to keep reminding myself. Exactly. And that's what I just wanted to tell you guys about me. Like, I'm still learning like you guys, we're in this together. Like, we are definitely working together in this path towards enlightenment, in this path towards ascension. It is not like I'm above anybody because I'm learning from my both, both everybody who's in my academy is both my teacher and a student, as well as I am a teacher and a student, and that's how it goes. Everybody who's in the academy has their own masteries already, like there's a lot of beautiful souls in there who are Reiki certified, who are masters, Reiki masters, who are really good at a lot of aspects of spirituality, and they share this stuff, and so it's like this isn't about a race. This isn't a race to the finish line. This is not how it's supposed to be in the academy. It is about learning with one another and growing with one another, and then eventually having ceremony with one another, and getting that establishment of like, okay, I stepped into this role as a student and a teacher, and now I am, working on self mastery, and then teaching other people eventually to do the same. So that's the whole point. The whole purpose of this academy is to learn with each other and grow with each other. It's not to race through things and not understand, or just get it the information and not even feel it, and shamanic practice is about feeling your way through things and clearing things that don't feel good, and making sure that you understand why they didn't feel good to begin with, wounds, healing them, all this stuff. So it's very important. Cheryl said, I did 7 years of Al-Anon, ACOA, it won't matter how much time you have put in some kind of program or other. Now is a very, very negative time. Oh, so you're talking about addictions. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's because it's time for people who do have those wounds and are using substances to heal, and so a lot of people who are not wanting to heal yet will end up lashing out at people. And so because they still feel themselves a victim of certain situations, and it's the energy of this 13-day period is not about victims. It's about realizing that we create the lives that we are living, and we are supposed to learn from these things and put them to rest. Death is a transition from one life form to another, and so when you think about it in that way, we are transitioning from lower vibrational ego self to a higher vibrational self. And we still have an ego, but it's still not going to be used against us. It's going to be used for us, where we are the masters of everything that's going on. And so when we start to understand our ego self as well as the ego of other people, we will not allow the ego to drive us. We will just say, thanks, ego, for this lesson. Thank you for showing me this about myself. Now I'm going to go ahead and heal what needs to be healed, understand what needs to be understood, and then move on. That's the whole purpose of the death energy, where we move on. And moving on is letting go. It's like we died, our ego, that layer of our ego died and it's buried, and now we are rebirthing ourselves into a higher understanding of ourselves and our world around us. Okay, recovering in general. Valerie says, exactly, Jennifer. Hairstyle says, it's not to judge others, but assess the situation to integrate our own lessons through their situation. It's brought into our awareness. Why not use it as a mirror? Exactly. Yeah. All right, you guys. So that's what I wanted to talk to you all about. That I do have lessons I learn all the time through people, and it's just very. It's funny how that works, where my higher self places very blatantly rude people in my path, so that I'm just like, there it is. There's that lesson. And so it's like really highlighted because it's the same type of blatantly rude energy that I had with past friendships last year, and then the year before that. It's like the same cycle that came in, and this one, it was just like one day. So I was just like, wow, that means that I'm actually learning something. Like I am proud of myself, because it took me 12 years before to learn, not to accept that type of behavior in my life. 12 years of being somebody, being a best friend to somebody that was using me and using everything, not from my knowledge to my money to everything, to my friendship, everything like that, using me when they saw fit, and not even wanting to help me. And so 12 years of that, being a doormat pretty much. And then I finally rose above that, and I finally established a boundary, and they didn't like that. And now, and last year was like, it took me just a little less than a year to establish a boundary with somebody else that had the same type of energy. And so now this year, I saw this person for one day, and they don't even know anything about me, and I don't know anything about them, but I saw it as that, and I was like, wow, in one day I I learned something. I learned how to set up my boundaries again. So it's it's progress. I like to see it as progress. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about, and just be mindful of that too with other people out there. And so it's definitely important for us, and especially in this energy, to be sure of we are resolute or we are, resolving a lot of issues, and we are establishing, our power back. And that's what is bothering a lot of people around us, that feel that they don't have any power. And, that's not our fault either. It's not our fault that they feel that way. But at least and you understand that, hey, if somebody lashes out at you today, or maybe tomorrow, or maybe the next day, it's not due to anything that you did wrong. It is due to the way that they feel about themselves, and the way that they perceive you as being put together pretty much. And that's what bothers them, because they feel for some reason or another that they're not put together, or they are still in a victim mentality. And it's not something that we do on purpose. We still shine our light regardless. Don't hide yourself. Okay, don't hide your light because somebody feels um inadequate, or it's not your fault they feel that way. It's their own. It's like they could either lash out at you, or they could either ask you for help with this. And so it's establishing that boundary if they lash out at you. So that's why I wanted to do this too, because I tend to like when these situations happen, I do become like Valerie said, I do hide a little, not hide, but I do sit with myself and I don't say anything to people if I'm confronted with people that are rude to me. And so this time, my guides were like, "No, you need to confront this. You know, you need to send a message to this person privately, and so that you could resolve this stuff." And so the message wasn't sent because they blocked me before I could do that. So, but still, at least I did my part, And so it's important to do the same thing. It's really, really important to know that hey, sometimes we do need to take a break from that type of behavior and come back and tell them, you know what, I am establishing a boundary. You are no longer allowed to treat me this way, and just say what you need to say. And if they, you know, somehow lash out at you again, then now you know for sure that it's a good thing that you are standing your ground. And it's a good thing that you are putting a boundary between you and them. Let's see. Valerie says, laughing, you're getting better at the bullshit radar. Yeah. I tend to, I don't judge anybody. Like, I tend to make sure that everybody is included in everything that I do. Like, if somebody resonates with me, I include them in it. Like if somebody comes to the academy, they're included in, and I always encourage this too, you guys, where if you have something to say, if you have an experience to share, please share it. Because there's somebody out there in the academy itself that's probably having a similar experience. And all this stuff, because we all learn from one another, and I learn from you guys, because you guys are in my, you're resonating with me for a reason, because you guys are soul family. And so I want to learn about you guys too. It's not just me all the time, talking. But it's very important to have that one, like, two-way conversation. It's not just a one-way thing, because that's how you establish relationships with people, and that's how you begin to grow with one another. But yes, Valerie, I am getting good at the bullshit radar. Yes, thank you, Jennifer. Yes, it is. So yeah, I'm getting better, because this was just one day of it. So that definitely showed itself like right away. Because it's funny because you get your initial intuition about people, but I tend to be inclusive. Even if I have an initial intuitive information about somebody, I still be like, no, you know what? I'm gonna let them prove me wrong. That's how I am. Like not prove me wrong, but whatever my guides are saying about them. And I'm just like, nah, we all have issues. We all are here to learn from one another. So, that's how that started. And so, but then because I had that feeling, this energy feels exactly like the previous ones. And then my guides were like, yes, it is. And I was just like, yeah, but I don't want to be that person to critique people based off of energy. I want to see what they're here to like help me with. And so then one day, that's exactly what that was. And I was just like, wow, one day I learned. I learned what I needed to learn in one day from this person. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm doing better. um, Liana says, my daughter is watching with me and she is laughing when you laugh. Oh, little baby, hi. She's so adorable. How's the baby, Liana? Jennifer, self-love, baby, healing. Yes, exactly. But okay, so everybody who is watching and who is not in my academy, today in the academy, we will be learning about Chiron uh, pretty much positions in your chart. Please, please, please have your information because we're going to be going through charts. Okay. So I could give you guys your own Chiron position in your chart and what's in your Saturn and what's in your Uranus as well, because those two signs have a lot to do with Chiron as well and how you balance Chiron in your life. It's like Chiron is like the bridge between those two planets in your chart. So make sure that you guys have your date of birth. If you don't know your time of birth, that's perfectly fine. If it's like during the day or during the night, better if you tell me. And I need you guys to tell me your place of birth as well, because we're going to be looking up each other's chart pretty much and telling you guys your positions and stuff like that. And then we're going to be contacting your main Syrian guide. Okay, so it's going to be fun. It's gonna be awesome. So if you guys are not in the academy, I highly recommend you do come to the academy for this. It's only one lesson per week. Um, so you will have videos that you will be seeing. It's like each video is for 1 week lesson, and then so on and so forth. Okay, so that's what I want to say for everybody. It's gonna be fun. Cheryl. I don't tend to see the government as negative or positive. I tend to know that it's a necessity for the 3D, but we are rising above that, and you can actually see it as how dramatic things are being. And so it's like when you see chaos outside of you and you are at peace, you already know that is going to end soon. That's going to be gone soon. All right, you guys, thank you again for watching. And for everybody else who's in the academy, love you guys so much. And I'll see you guys later. And for everybody else who's watching on YouTube with me, thank you again for being here and for giving me your insights. And thank you so much for just being wonderful people and continuing on and supporting me in what I'm here to do. Love you guys again. Have a good day. Bye bye.